country, sort of take a leaf out of Lucknow's book and sort of, follow that model.
Right.
I've heard a lot about Lucknow ke kebabs. मेरे घर पे अच्छे कबाब ज़्यादा बनते हैं. Sorry guys. But Lucknow की chaat जो है, that's exceptional. That's world class. I don't think you can get chaat as good as Lucknow ever.
Wow.
So yeah, and like I've shot all over Lucknow. It's a beautiful city.
So last time you were here was for work?
It was for work. It was for Jolly LLB too. We shot all over the city. Here for almost a month, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we shot almost the whole film over here. Maybe a short portion in Bombay, but most of the film was shot in Lucknow.
And what time of the year was it?
This was winters again.
Winter's beautiful.
Winter's beautiful. Slight nip in the air.
Yeah.
Lovely weather, not too hot.
Yeah.
गर्मी में Lucknow थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है.
I think then everybody goes on holiday for a little while and then comes back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now see, I have a series of questions. Uske beecho beech, I'm going to ask my own questions, of course. These are also my own questions. Want to understand how you existed in the first place.
How I existed.
Yeah.
Thanks to my parents.
Thanks to your parents. Thank you for that. Thank you. Your childhood. Where did you grow up?
So I had a very interesting childhood. So my mother is, that's baby me, and that's the Taj Mahal behind me.
Wow.
Photograph hai wo. That's my mother. I used to sit on her head and I used to pull her hair.
The best way to travel.
The best way to travel. Eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly.
Leaves no carbon footprint.
You get Kana also, Mummy.
Yeah. I used to always like to sit on my mother's or my father's shoulders and pull their hair out. My father has no hair left now. My mother still, thanks to her Kashmiri roots.
You were traveling on his shoulders longer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, you were about to say something.
About my background. So my father's from New Delhi and my mother is from Kashmir, and they had a love marriage and they had us. So I think childhood was split between GK1 / Kalkaji. I was born in Kalkaji, which is in South Delhi. And every weekend we used to go to my grandparents' house, which is in Nizamuddin Basti, which is like this very traditional area where you had to wear salwar kameez and do your adabs and everything. And every summer vacation we used to go to Kashmir, where my mom is from, because my grandparents were alive. And so you sort of had to exist in all these three worlds. So I think as children, me and Sakim, my younger brother, we just, wherever we went, that was home for us. And I think that sort of gives you a very big understanding of just your family and how distinct one part of the family can be from the other.
Yeah.
And how you have to learn to sort of cohabit with all the different worlds.
Right.
Also being in Kashmir makes you a little more aware of the world in large, because school में तो हम लोग Backstreet Boys or Hindi films or all the 90s cinema में बड़े हुए थे, which was like, we loved that. But then you went to Kashmir, it's a different world. You went to Nizamuddin, which is a different world. So I think it was very mishmash of everything happening.
It's like just playing different avatars.
I think so, because you had to go and also be part of the Kashmiri side of your family, and also you had to fit in with all the cool kids in school also.
So it was traditional and
cool,
modern,
cool. Otherwise school भी बनना होता था ना, वरना बड़ी दिक्कत हो जाती वरना school में कोई बात ही नहीं करता. So I think you had to do a balancing act.
Right.
I think that's the reason why we are also okay actors, because you try and fit into every world.
Much more than okay actors. Listen, now it says over here when we've been doing your homework, you're a bit of a prankster as a kid.
Yeah.
Really?
तो बचपन में मैं क्या करती थी कि कुछ भी गलत हरकत करके ना अपने भाई का नाम लगाती. I'm sure everybody has done that, right? I'm sure you all have done that. वो छोटा था and once what happened, we went to a relative's house और उनके घर पे ना वो dressing table में जितना सामान था, all the perfume bottles and the lipstick and everything, I just literally destroyed everything. Like threw perfume bottles in the bathroom.
That's you destroyed. What is in your hand over there?
It's a little gun. I think I was auditioning for Gangs of Wasseypur back then also.
The amount of preparation that
lifelong struggle.
You destroyed all those bottles, the perfume.
I destroyed everything, and then my brother was younger than me, so I उसका नाम लगा दिया. And he was so young, so he was sleeping. When he woke up, my mother asked him, "तुमने किया है?" So he started howling because he was scared. So रोने लग गया तो मतलब it's admission of guilt, right? And I didn't say anything. So for many years, my mother believed it was him who had destroyed all those things.
Right.
Till one day we eating dinner, and my mother said, "Oh, that aunt, blah blah blah, whose house it was. She was away in a different country, she's coming back and we're going to host her for dinner. So Saqib suddenly goes like, you know, Mama, that incident where you thought I had broken all those things and stuff, I didn't do it. So I'm like, yeah, I did it. And I
later?
Almost 10 years later,
Oh
we were like literally children. And my mother was shocked. She's like, "Itne saalo tak?" And I was like, yeah, because he didn't admit it. Why would I, take the guilt and get scolded on
What's
it?
the age difference between you?
For 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. You're the younger one.
I'm the older one. He's the younger one. Although I'm the more mature one. Sisters usually are. See, they all agree.
Older sisters.
Older sisters are always more mature. Actually, women in general are more mature than men.
True.
You have no other option but to.
A 5-year-old girl is more mature than I am. Yeah, way sharper, way cleverer than I am. Or than I ever will be. Now, but you come from a family of restaurateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, my father makes these amazing kebabs in there.
And when did he? That's why you're talking about the food at home.
Yeah.
But when did he establish, or when did he start his business?
I think, as far as I can remember, it's been my father's passion, like the hospitality industry. So he always wanted to do that, and he was always very busy trying to set up a great business. I mean, and his father, my dada, was very against the whole idea because he thought, why should my son? We had a tannery sort of a business, and he always wanted my father to go into that. My father was like, no, I want to do hospitality.
Yeah.
So he never understood it. और मेरे दादा क्योंकि उस जमाने के थे तो उनको लगता था कि अब तुम क्या झूठी पेटे तो हो गए. He had a different understanding of the world, and I think it's a generational gap thing always.
Yeah.
So my father loved it, and this is what it's like another child that he has.
And that's what put food on the table.
That's what put food on the table. Yeah, literally.
It did. How many of you over here knew that Uma's from a restaurateur background? Anybody want to?
Lots of people, yeah.
Solid stalkers over here.
Oh, stop.
No.
They're lovely.
Just teasing you. College then, uske baad.
So grew up as a prankster, and then college was Gargi College, which was an all-girls college. So हुआ क्या कि I went to a co-ed school. I grew up with all boys, but जब college की बारी आई, so I remember not getting good enough marks to get into the college of my choice, which was St. Stephen's, and my mother was very upset because I had fought and said I wanted to study humanities and not science because my parents always thought I should. I was smart. I was into education. I was also the head girl, meet pranks. So they always thought I'll do something more academic with my life. But when I said I wanted to study humanities, it was a bit of a shock for them because they were just disappointed, I guess. And in 12th, I don't know, for some reason, I didn't get the required marks. And I didn't get into St. Stephen's. And so my parents said, go to Gargi. It's a good college. It's a girls' college. It's right next to our house. And I ended up going over there. I was initially very upset about going to like an all-girls institution. But honestly, looking back, I think it's been the most amazing aspect of my education because somehow I felt by going to an all-girls institution, I just was just free to be myself.
Yeah.
I know in a very strange sort of a way. Like we were literally gundas.
Yeah.
We were like pranksters all the time. I was doing theatre all the time. I was, doing so many extra things, and I didn't feel. I don't know. I just felt freer. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. So I mean, I look back at amazing memories of being in college, and हमारे college के opposite used to be this cafe coffee day in Mithas, which was where all the guys would come and hang out and wait for the girls to cross the road and try
Must have
and
been a
move
very
them.
busy spot.
So I was very busy. So I used to be like a bit of a gunda. कि क्या है? So I think all those things you can do because you've got the other women watching your
And
back.
would you tell your girlfriends if they were seeing someone, they were like, would you do a quick character judge?
Oh yeah, fully. I think guys got really scared when they had to sort of come and visit their respective girlfriends in our college because they were like, "Itni sari ladkiyan ek saath, oh God."
Right.
Like I don't think I can handle that. But he would get like a full scan saying, "ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, बात ठीक से करो, ये करो, bill दो, we cancel, all control delete."
Of course. Now, but that's the journey over there. Then you've gotten to the show business from family was in one business,
Right.
and वो change जो है, how did that happen?
So the thing is, like if I can be honest, I think I always wanted to be an actor. ever since I can remember as a little girl.
With the bandook in your hand?
With the bandook in my hand, and these are few pictures. I'm always dressing up in all my childhood pictures when I look back at them. And but it's something you don't admit to yourself. If you come from like a conservative Muslim middle class family in Delhi, being an actress is not an option.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, possibly in my family, a lot of women like they just get married.
Right.
A lot of my cousins are just groomed to get married, which is fine. I think it's a choice that everybody should have, whatever they want to do.
So, what's your opinion?
Well, my opinion is, I think there's so much talk about being a feminist nowadays and everything, which is great because in our country we do need that kind of conversation. You know, being the largest democracy, we still have so many issues. Women are not allowed to live. They are killed at birth. Female education is a joke. Women don't have a choice to decide what they want to do with their lives. So I think this conversation about feminism is important. However, the most important thing for me when you talk about female rights is the right to choose. Whether you want to get married or you want to have a family or a baby or you want to have a career, the choice should be yours.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be somebody else's decision for you.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a lot of friends who had the choice and they made the choice that they wanted to just get married, which is completely fine. But a lot of women don't get that choice.
Yeah.
And I think that's not cool and that's not fair. So that's where I stand on this whole debate really.
Yeah. No, and you will push for the change that is happening. I mean, it's not. I think it's just awareness and evolution of thought for ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. But like, but for me, I mean, so I always wanted to act, and for me, but to admit that even to myself, that told my family was a
I want to hear this one. One second. Just pause. Don't forget what you're saying. People at the back. Hello, hi. Just little silence. Just.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi, people in the back.
Thank
I
you.
want you to come forward. Please listen to
Get
me, and then you can ask me questions if you like. I'd love to answer them.
Yes, there is Q&A right after this.
I think there's alcohol in the back. That's why they're not interested.
It's more interesting.
Conversation, alcohol always wins.
More interesting than our case.
I think so.
Yes, you were saying that unpause.
Unpause. I was talking about
Acting,
and I always wanted to act. But it was something I could not even admit to myself that I wanted to become an actress because you know everybody would like, okay, heroine banna hai. You know what I mean? People just sort of mock at you or laugh at you, but it was something I knew I always wanted to do. And it took me a while to admit that to myself, let alone to my family. So college was a time when I really did a lot of theatre. I did professional, amateur, semi-professional, I directed plays, worked in various theatre groups. I think that was really the decision time for me where I was like, oh, this is what I love doing. Being on stage, performing in front of a live audience was just so electrifying. And this is the high I want to live for.
no amount of money can buy that.
And no amount of money can buy that. You know, when someone walks up to me and says, oh, we saw this film of yours and it's amazing, you know, you really like, it means a lot to me. Because you're just in your isolated world, just saying some lines and doing something, you don't know the impact it really has. And you feel so special that what you do is actually touching people in some way.
Yes.
You know, so that for me was nothing. I don't think I could fit into any other job. Like if I wasn't an actor, I'd probably still be struggling to be an actor. You know,
Fair.
so yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean, for people in the audience, I'm sure so many of you are aware already. Half of you must be artists yourselves, practicing artists, but the community of the artists and performers is very exciting to hang out with. And
it's a crazy bunch of people artists.
No? Yeah. Now, I'm gonna ask our lovely audience a few questions. What I'm going to do is, this is a segment.
You're going to ask them questions?
Haji, it's like true or false.
Oh, okay.
Simple.
Okay.
Simple. About you.
Oh, about me. Okay.
Yes, not like.
I want to know this.
Now it's called Mind the Gap, and why we call it Mind the Gap is just in case there was a gap of information, you didn't know something about Huma Qureshi, we will now know. Okay, so now the first thing, all you have to say is true or false, which one is true and which one is false. Okay? Huma started her career in theatre or advertising?
That's easy.
Theatre, because you just said it.
I just said it.
Yeah. These words don't rearrange themselves automatically.
This is a teleprompter.
Teleprompter, quickly somebody. Okay, now, but theatre was there also.
Yeah, of course, theatre. Theatre was there,
Advertising
and
came
then
about when? Much later.
advertising happened in Bombay. So when I moved to Bombay, I went and met this casting director who told me,
Who?
Amita Sehgal.
Hmm.
So she does a lot of advertising, casting, and such. Lovely lady, and she gave me a very good piece of advice. She said, you know, you've come from Delhi, and I was brand new, like I was just not even a month, and I was like just meeting people and like people recommending, and I said, you know, I want to do movies, and that's what I want to do. She said, it's not gonna happen like that. So I said, don't break my heart. Like I've come with all these dreams in my eyes. Like if that ऐसे नहीं होने वाला, तुम दिल्ली से आई हो, ठीक ठाक लड़की हो, घर की लड़की लगती हो, go for ad auditions. Try and get into advertising. Once you get picked up in advertising, you know, who knows you'll get. Like, and her advice was there's no one hard and fast rule to make it.
Yes.
And I also believe that I think success at something is not, you can't plan it. It happens. You just have to keep doing your work all the time. And if success happens, then it happens. But there's no like short way of doing it. But her advice was do advertising, and that way you might get noticed, which did happen. Like my first year in Bombay, I had no work.
Yeah.
So I came to Bombay thinking, I'm gonna go and you know, I'm gonna like make it and I'm gonna like I'm gonna be like that. But it didn't happen like that. It was very sad and depressing. And I lived in a PG with 4 other girls. One was from Gujarat, one was from Ahmedabad, one was a Bombay girl but a family little far away. And it was in Juhu versus Wali Road. It was awful because I had never lived in a PG before, and you know I had what's
You're 4 of you all in a PG.
Yeah. It was like 2 flats. So the family rented out 1 flat to 4 girls, kind of a thing.
Right.
And I'd never lived in a shared place before. I was always like chaperone in Delhi, you know, but I was like, nee, I'm going to go to Bombay. I'm going to make it on my own. I'm not going to take too much money from my father. I'm going to prove myself. Only just ba ki main prove karungi. So I'd gone with that, and first it was horrible. I had no work, I had no friends. I was awfully depressed, and in Bombay, I don't know if you guys know, you have to sometimes go to these really gully ke andar some places to give auditions, and you know you're lost, and Google Map doesn't work over there, and you're just like, kahan ja rahi hu? And then sometimes people are really rude to you. Yeah, and people are really not nice to you.
Yeah.
And you always think, I mean, at least where I came from, it was always like women should be spoken to nicely. But a lot of people don't speak to women nicely because it's like, hey, ye line padna tumko. So you're like, excuse me, are you talking to me? And like, हाँ ये करो और जल्दी जाओ, तुम fit नहीं हो. ये क्या dress पहन के आए हो? So you're just like, what? Yeah, people are quite awful to you. But it's okay. I remember all those things with a lot of humor and a lot of this thing. Sometimes you go to a room, there are 40 other people, it's garmi, there's no AC, you're sweating away, your makeup and your hair that you've done is awful. And by the time you go in front of the camera, to say your name, you know, do your right-left profile, you know, your spirit is destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, I want to go home, maybe I haven't eaten anything.
Confidence to zero.
Confidence to zero. और confidence को सब zero करने में लगे रहते हैं क्योंकि आपको इतने ज्ञानी मिलते हैं. And everybody has that 2 bit of advice, so you're genuinely your spirit is destroyed.
What's the funniest advice you've got?
Change your name.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So to change my name, I was. What else someone told me? Also, I've been
Did they
lots of funny
recommend the
ways.
name?
Aisha रख लो, कुछ भी रख लो, कुछ भी हाँ मतलब उमा मत रखो, अच्छा नाम नहीं है. So I was like, okay, I was like, listen, this is the name I was born with.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna stay.
Yeah.
वो मेरी बचपन से, I think, I've always been like a cocky kid. Even when I was wrong, I've been like SAM.
Best.
हाँ.
Best.
So.
Best.
ये best है.
Now back to the true or false.
Okay, sorry. We really deviated from that one.
That's quite alright. You know, I'm hosting.
You have to stop me. I talk too much.
नहीं.
I have a motor mouth.
We have all come. Uma Qureshi, ma'am, we have all come to hear you.
वो लोग सो गए 2-3 पीछे.
So. Okay, now Huma's first film was directed by Anurag Kashyap, or her first film didn't get made. Which one? First or second?
Anurag Kashyap.
Ajit? Anurag Kashyap. What is it?
So the first film I ever debuted in was Gangs of Wasseypur, directed by Anurag Kashyap. But the first film I was supposed to do, which never got made, was I had done tell the first story. I had done a play in Delhi, where I had directed the play, and I used to work with this NGO of kids, where we used to use theatre as a way to help them deal with loss, and most of them were run away from homes or had been through abuse. So how do you use
drama therapy?
Like drama therapy. And every year, it's an NGO called Jamgat, and every year we used to set up a play and do a production at the LTG in Delhi. And just the kids only writing their own script and self-directing themselves, and I was just like a mentor.
What age group?
This was like, right from like 8 to like 14 kind of a thing. So like really young kids. 8 to 16 kind of a thing. So anyway, so I had done this production, and at the end they called me on stage and we were like, okay, we stay there. I did my little speech, which I'm awful at. And then a few days later, I was doing a lot of theatre at that point in time. So I was doing a play with Amir Raza Hussain, and we were traveling to Bombay, my second trip to Bombay. And I get a phone call saying we're casting for a film. And this person's name is Tanmay Mohan, who's still a friend of mine, and I thought he was joking. I'm like, shut up. Why would somebody call me? I'm just like a kid from Delhi who's doing some play with some other kids.
I haven't even changed
I don't even have a portfolio. I don't even want to become an actress. So I thought he was just somebody, friend of mine, playing a prank on me. But I did go for the audition, and then that film didn't happen, and then he recommended me to another film, and that was being directed by this gentleman called Atul Sagarwal. And I went and I read the script and I read the part, and then the producer called me, who was a Bengali producer, saying, "Oh, we won't pay you any money, but
we got the job.
In 3 months you have to shoot." So I'm like, what? This is amazing. So I went back. Audio.
Check.
So I went back home and I told my dad, I got this film. My dad was like, Lallu bana rahe.
There's no money and no story. There's no set, there's no camera.
There's nothing. And the film obviously never happened. But I was so excited that somebody actually said the words, "We want to cast you in a movie."
Yeah.
So I was really pumped. And this was of course, from this incident till I actually moved to Bombay was about a year. It took me a year to make the decision to move to Bombay. So when I came to Bombay, I just wanted to do one movie. I wanted to do one film, I wanted to do one role. I didn't know what that would be. I would have done anything that was offered to me. It's my kismat that film happened to be, Gangs of Wasseypur. I didn't choose the film. I think the film really chose me in that sense. So yeah, the first film that was supposed to happen never happened.
So how did Gangs of Wasseypur then, who is the casting director?
Mukesh Habra is the casting director, and I knew Mukesh from Delhi because of the theatre connection. But how I landed the film was, there's a casting director called Tia, and she was auditioning for an ad that they were making, that Anurag Kashyap was directing, and it had Mr. Amir Khan and they were looking for his girlfriend. It was a Samsung mobile ad. And I just went and I did the audition, and the next day Tia called me saying, it's a 3-day shoot, you're cast, and I was like, woo, so exciting. And that's how I met Anurag, and we shot, and then the second day when we were shooting, he said, I'm going to cast you in my film. So I thought, rubbish. ऐसे नहीं होती फिल्म की
Don't try pranks on me. I'm not prankster.
No, I really thought it's not so easy.
Right.
And it probably isn't. But I think I'm sure. Thank God he saw something that he thought I could pull off in Gangs of Wasseypur, and that film really happened. And that ad was really special. It is very special because I got to of course work with Amir Khan, who I'm a huge fan of.
Right. Right.
And it translated into my first film. So I still tease Mukesh that you haven't cast me in Gangs, okay?
Yeah.
You better cast me in something now.
I think so. I hate to sound like as if this is a flight, but sit down and fasten your seatbelts, gentlemen. The thing about alcohol is that it will be available to you at any time if you don't have it now. But the lady, however, will not. Just a thought. Just a thought. Now, but we were talking about casting directors, right? What is your take on how there's an evolution in the industry right now?
Well, I think it's definitely improved. I have to say, and I think it's becoming far more structured, which it needs to, because it's such an unstructured business, and I think as a newcomer, you're really sort of so lost. Because, like I said, I can only share my experiences. You don't know anybody. You just go via friends who are also trying to, do something, and you hear. But I think now, definitely, people like Mukesh Habra, Shanu Sharma, Nandini, all these guys are sort of trying to make the business and the process of casting far more easier for the
Yes.
actors involved. And I think they're really empathetic also towards the journey the actor has to take
Yeah.
to landing that part, because that's a huge journey. You know, everyone sees the success story. Everyone sees, oh, this one do that film and that film, but the journey before that, it's a very painful journey, and it's painful for everybody. So, I mean, some people choose to talk about it more, so you know what, but I think everybody goes through that. So, the overnight success takes many years to get.
I think
to the
this is
overnight
like playing, if you want to be a musician and you want to play the guitar in front of a live audience, it takes those many years of
Absolutely.
practice
Absolutely.
to then, get to, you can't just come and go tick tock tock.
Yeah,
Oh,
and acting is a serious business, and you know everybody has an opinion on actors. I think it's such a vulnerable position to be an actor because everyone has an opinion on you, and you sometimes, I mean, it's.
Have you developed some sort of a guard?
I still struggle with it, to be honest. There are days when I feel I can take on the world. There are days I feel, oh God, like I can't. But I think the only thing that sort of keeps me going is acting itself. Like whenever I feel really low and lonely, I just feel, dude, I made it so far. मैं कुछ तो ठीक कर ही रही होंगी. Like Master Class, I remember when I moved to Bombay, and I was just a struggling actor, and Yashji was being interviewed by Sudhir Mishra,
Right.
and it happened at Blue Frog in Bombay, and I'd gone to hear them, and I was just like sitting like this kid, mesmerized by what they were talking about and all the anecdotes and the stories, and that gave me a lot of hope. So when I got a call for this one,
Right.
I was like, shit, I must be doing something right.
Yeah. So now is the struggle that you were talking about. Let's say जो एक साल था बॉम्बे में.
Huh.
Were there many times you felt that, so let's just pack up and go back home?
So for me, the biggest turning point, I think, was the decision to come to Bombay. My father told me, go for a year, figure it out. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I don't know how to be another struggler in the sea of people and not do anything with her life. So it was my commitment to him that I had 1 year to sort of prove myself.
Yeah.
And I remember I had done, my first ever ad was directed by Amit Sharma for Idea Mobile. And I'm being this journalist reporter who's interviewing Abhishek Bachchan saying, sir.
You remember the line? Something like
The idea, क्या था? I don't remember it.
Okay.
But something, एक idea, my line was, एक idea जिसने आपकी जिंदगी बदल दी, or something like that was my line, okay?
Right.
And he gives some line about the
Right.
brand and everything. And I was so excited, and I remember IPL was going on. So I was still living in the PG, and I would go to the neighboring flat, which was because we didn't have a TV.
Right.
So I would go to the neighboring landlord's house and say, भैया please TV देख लीजिए, IPL में मेरा ad आएगा.
No TV, that's a real struggle.
Yeah, I never TV. I used to
Okay.
watch it on like, used to have laptops and stuff, but no TV. But I used to go to my friend's house to watch it. And I used to go and tell Bhaiya कि भैया please,
Yeah.
मेरा ad आने वाला है, I want to watch it on IPL. But the amazing thing was कि दिल्ली में जितनी friends, family, chacha, mom, masi, kaka, everybody would call neighbors saying, hey, we saw your ad, yeah, it's damn cool. So and I think when your parents see you on TV, then they feel कि अच्छा चलो कुछ तो कर ही रहे हैं.
Yeah.
So
सबूत है
that's,
ना?
हाँ कुछ तो कर रही है.
Yeah.
एक अभिषेक बच्चन के साथ ad में आ गई यार, कुछ तो कर ही रही
So
होगी.
was that a signature moment for you? Or which was your signature moment?
The signature moment I think was the decision to move to Bombay.
Solid.
It really I was really in a kashmakash, you know,
Kashmakash, yeah.
कि क्या move करना चाहिए नहीं
I
करना
hate being in
चाहिए.
a kashmakash.
Yeah, but I mean it's everything. It's a metamorphosis. Something good
Yeah.
comes out of it.
Yeah.
But I was really scared about moving to Bombay. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have friends. My entire life in Delhi was a 5-kilometer radius. Like my school, my college, my friends, everything. And moving to Bombay was like this unknown entity.
Yeah.
You know, and it took me about a year to make that decision because my family was like, "You're silly. Just go study abroad. Do something with your life. You know, what are you doing this? You can do so much rather than just being a Bollywood actress."
Yes.
You know, and I think a lot of people still think like that. Fortunately, that thing is changing, and I'm grateful that in some small way I'm part of that change.
Yes. You're pretty big here.
But it was hard for me because I also weighed the pros and cons, and it's scary, right? Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
You don't know whether what you think in your head is going to translate. You don't know how good you think you are, you're actually that good. And sometimes when nobody believes in you, you just gotta believe in yourself.
And that's when, but you knew then that you would be able to convert this into a profession, you'd be able to convert your passion into a paycheck.
I hope so.
But like someone...
I prayed and I hope so.
Yeah. There must have been some... Did you have any gurus or like any role models?
Yes, I think the first person in my life who told me that I could act was my theatre teacher. This gentleman called N.K. Sharma. He runs one of the oldest Hindi-speaking theatre groups in Delhi, well, Act 1. And I started sort of doing plays with him and stuff.
How old were you when you started?
Oh, I was in like 12th standard, 11th, yeah.
So that's 16, 17.
That's 16, 17. And he was like, you should, and he was the first guy who told me, you should act. So I was like, really? You think I'm that good? Like, and he was one person he really sort of pushed me. And even when I didn't believe in myself, he believed in me. I think sometimes you need that kind of a mentor who just believes in you. Because I've had the lowest self-esteem ever.
Does the low self-esteem sometimes work for an actor?
I think so. I think sometimes, when you have all the answers, then you become horrible. You become so full of yourself and
you have no friends.
You have no friends because you're so full of yourself.
I have all the answers, but there's nobody to talk to.
I am nobody. I am just like, I think being a little insecure, being a little afraid, being a little not sure works. I feel the points in time in life where I've just known I can do this. I have just messed up things. But the times that I've been really scared, those times have converted into something very beautiful.
Wow, if insecurity and fear are some of the criteria, then I'm going to be a huge Most definitely. Rajnikant, get out of the way. Never. Okay, now, of course, we're talking about, the breaks and a big break, which for you, I like the way you said that your signature moment was the moment that you realized, or the decision that you made, कि बस अब shift करना है, you have to go to Bombay, go to that city and set up Dukan and just see, work and see how things go. And it's paid off tremendously. But what would you say to a lot of people who come to Bombay? Now, time is relative. It also works differently for different people.
Sure.
So I think it's fortunate that it took you just 1 year from the time
Do my
you
first
landed.
ad, yes. Do my first ad, yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. Because then for the other stuff to start picking up, it would have taken some
2009, I think it was my first commercial. My first film released 2012.
So struggle to struggle here.
Struggle. Correct.
What would you say to a lot of people who watch the show and would like to do the same thing? I mean, we always meet people who, especially in their 20s, and they're like, "Mujhe Bombay jana hai," or actor banna hai.
People who want to become actors, my only advice you would be run.
Run.
Find another passion if you can.
Really?
Well, I always used to think that being an actress is so amazing. You just have to do hair and makeup and chill and everybody. It's a lot of hard work, guys.
I think so.
And I think today acting is not just about the glamour of it or the comfort of it or the razzmatazz of it. I think it's so much more. And as actors, you have to be, I believe that the best actors are always they're very smart, they're well read, they travel really well, and they have so much, they have a different insight into life and things, which is why they're amazing actors and which is why they continue to work for so many years. I mean, at least that's the actor I would aspire to be, who's relevant during time.
Yes.
I think today as actors, you can't just think, I'm just going to look amazing and I'm going to worry about who I'm going to cast opposite and just be like the next big thing or hot thing or whatever.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't ask the crowd to stay quiet because they would have stayed quiet if I had. Gayatri? Hello! Please convey that message, yeah? We'll carry on our chat. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I've lost my train of thought.
Somebody quickly prompt us.
Where were we?
What were we talking about?
No one's paying attention, huh?
No. Are see.
She's paying attention.
Very much. What were we
What are you
chatting
talking about? inspired by the actors. Ah, well done, girl.
Thank you.
What I was trying to say that acting today, I think, I mean, for me, like the best actors across times and across period have been people who always remain relevant to the times. Today, you can't just be about how beautiful you are or who your cast off is. I think as actors and actresses of the female gender, you have to be sort of more aware of the responsibility of the kind of work you're doing and always be connected to your audience. You can't afford to be in this bubble and not relate to people, because to be an actor, you have to always associate very deeply with your and resonate with your audience.
But don't you feel we act all the time? Like, we are fortunate to be, I mean, a professional practicing artist, but even life may, you're acting the part of a father, acting the part of the brother, the mother.
Yeah.
It's a role, it's acting only, no?
Acting only. I have learned all my acting from life only. मम्मी बोलते थे बेटा तुम कितने बजे वापस आओगे बाहर जा रहे हो मम्मी जल्दी आ जाऊंगी with a straight face. I never used to come back on time. हमको ना कभी नाइट आउट की परमिशन नहीं मिलती थी. My mother was like, you can't. अंधेरा हो गया बेटा कहाँ जा रहे हो?
I know how you see.
It's dark. It's Delhi and it's dark. You can't be out of the house. So बड़ी मुश्किल से मिन्नतें करके mom, can you please let us go to a friend's birthday? My best friend. So my mother had a curfew of 11. Okay. By 11 o'clock at night you have to come back. And I was in school. So then I used to calculate if I go back home at 12 or go back home at 2. That तो उतनी पड़ेगी. So might as well go back home at 2 o'clock. So that's how I learned my acting. If my mother said, what time you back? I'll be back by 11, no problem. I'll be back at the time you said I'll be back at.
So that she doesn't.
So that she's still satisfied. No, she would not sleep. She would wait and then she'd call and I would pick up and say, yeah, mom, where are you? Mom, 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I'd be sitting at the party.
But that's, yeah, you're right. I mean, this little white lies are essential sometimes. Now, I do want to harp a bit and go back to Passion to Paycheck in terms of when you, as an actor, as a performer, how does it work? I mean, Kay, do you feel, how do you know what economic structure to follow? How are you a professional in the thing, you know?
How do you make money basically?
How do you make money? Because it's also, we don't come from a background of show business. That's not our business.
Sure.
We minded our own business as children.
Yeah.
But uske baad you like say, acha ye bhi hai, you know, and wow, you can make a living out of performing or, you know, doing a signature show. That's pretty cool.
Are they paying you for this?
No. But
you're paying him for this?
No. I get a lot of alcohol and apples. No. But how do you craft it then? Or do you not think about the economics of it, Perry?
Yeah, you don't craft it.
You don't craft
I think if you do something, and it's always worked in my life, and I can only talk about my experience. If you do something for the passion and the purity of it, money always follows. Like I generally, without thinking about money, when I was doing theatre in Delhi, I didn't know I was going to become a movie actor. I'm not a star. I was just doing it because I really enjoyed being on stage.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would go and we would sweep the floor of our rehearsal theatre, or we would just like, we would pool in money to buy chai for everyone. We did all those things, and we had to pool in money to buy props for the show and things like that. It was really a struggle to put up a show.
Right.
But I enjoyed that process. And my father used to tease me, तुम ये क्या झोला छाप वाले काम करते रहते हो, झोला लेके तुम घूमते रहोगे, theatre करते रहोगे. It doesn't really pay the bills. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know what the plan was going to be. I didn't know how the money would follow, but I knew this is what I really enjoyed doing. And somewhere along the way, I think, money follows.
Yes.
If you do something for the money will always evade you. That's what I believe.
I feel it's like the laws of attraction.
Like I don't think Sachin, like for example, to give you like a very different example, I don't think Sachin Tendulkar thinks about how much money he's making. I think he just plays. Or Virat Kohli, I think they just play.
Yeah.
They don't really think about how much money I'm going to get by playing well.
And accordingly I'll get a 6.
And accordingly I'll play well or what won't play well. I think it's just about you love what you do and people just appreciate for it. And money is a form of appreciation. In dollars or whatever, rupees or whatever it is.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. If you're getting paid in Sri Lankan currency, then it's gonna be
That's not right. I'll take Canadian dollars, please.
anything, man.
Anything, man.
Coupons also.
You're paying him for this?
I
He's
get
getting paid to do
coupons.
this?
I also get cash in nuts, guys. I get cash.
He's getting paid to wear it.
The ladies,
I'm just going, where's my check?
the ladies in red. now,
Hiding.
now, how often do you work as a like this year?
I work all the time.
मतलब छुट्टी नहीं है क्या?
That's what I'm trying to say. If someone had told me that it never ends, like you're always doing something or the other. Either you're shooting or you're traveling for work, or you're doing events, or you're doing brands, or now this new thing of social media, something or the other keeps going on.
हाँ तो उसका क्या scene है? Social media is like now everybody will be like throwing roses or potatoes or tomatoes and garlic.
Yeah. Everybody with a smartphone is on social media and has an opinion basically.
Anybody with opposable thumb.
Yeah, opposable thumbs basically. Yeah, even chimpanzees. I think most of them are chimpanzees.
They are
only.
chimpanzees.
With low IQs and vicious tongues.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks they have an opinion that they can express it.
I think so. And you don't get bothered by haters?
No, I don't. I just block them.
And in your free time, I mean, when was the last time you had a family celebration?
Oh, we try and take our time whenever we can. Like birthdays are sacred.
Really?
New Year is sacred. No matter how much money I get paid, my manager there is smiling because she knows it's true. She has that one with the phone over there, that one. She always wants me to work on New Year's and I tell her, इतने से पैसों के लिए अपना New Year खराब कर दूँ बिल्कुल भी नहीं. But this time is special. You know, with friends and family, and we work the whole year.
Yes.
एक तो so I think कुछ दिन ऐसे होते हैं that you need to sort of take out for yourself and your close ones because they don't never come back.
Yeah.
They just don't come back.
But
So I don't
how
want to.
time works.
Yeah.
Oh, like, shit, निकल गई.
I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
So those days I don't touch. And then I just recently took a vacation with my parents. We'd gone to Vancouver.
Oh, nice.
So that was quite nice. I'd gone there for a film festival and they went with me.
Was it
And
winter?
it was very cold. It was lovely. It was lovely.
I can't take too much cold.
Just eat 2 pancakes, you'll be fine.
I thought our clothes have shrunk. Clothes have shrunk. How do you deal with the norms that have already existed in Bollywood? Just, you know, there are two questions that I want to ask you. One is the physical appearance of it, which 1,000 people have asked you. And in terms of your being, like, because cameras ke samne, red carpet, people, there's a different, it's a performance also.
Sure.
No? You have to, no matter what's happened in the day, you need to be like, hairspray.
Pout. The whole thing, yeah.
Flawless.
Flawless.
So how do you balance the massage and how do you balance structure?
Well, you're not saying it, you're being polite, I'll say it for you.
Yeah.
The 2 words, size 0 and nepotism that I'm sick of answering
What is
questions
size
on.
0?
Size 0 and nepotism.
Right.
And I'm sick of answering questions on.
I'm sorry, I mean, I wanted to answer something.
No, of course. But I think, here's what I believe, you know, I think, how should one frame it? You know, as young women, we're constantly told how we are not supposed to behave this way and that way, and how we're supposed to be seen and not heard, and how we should look, and how we should dress, and how you should not dress, and how pally you can be with guys, and this you should not do because it's very unladylike. And I think it's this constant barrage while we're growing up of do this and don't do this and do this. It's almost like girls are supposed to be upholders of the universe in that sense.
But
without
they
having
are.
any. No, they aren't. Really, they aren't. So stop putting us on a pedestal. We are not some goddess, and we are not some, you know, somebody to be tamed and told how to behave a particular way. You know, we have our own individuality.
Okay.
We are, all of us in this room full of lots of women. All of us are as different as we are. Often I've gone to, you know, auditions where on a sheet of paper it says, say for example, Susie. Susie is a smart, intelligent woman. You know, or Susie is a smart, strong girl. Why do you have to call Susie smart or strong?
Just call her Susie.
Just call her Susie. Would you ever say that for a guy? Neil is a smart, strong guy. I've never heard an audition sheet say that.
I never heard you say that because you're audio cut. I was like, "Usi waqt pe."
Usi waqt pe.
Have you ever heard these?
So,
Right. No,
so,
true.
so my point is, there are always these boxes you're trying to put women in,
Yeah.
and I think body shape or skin color or how you're supposed to behave is just one of those tags, really.
Yeah.
And honestly, what kind of a world are we living for other young girls? You know, I've grown up with body image issues like everybody else. You know, I've yo-yo dieted, I've felt like I'm horrible looking, blah 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 blah, because there's always people telling you what's not good about you.
Yeah, true.
And why should we let them?
Yeah.
That's been my only thing. You know, I'm a person. I, thankfully, because of my family or my upbringing or whatever other reasons or the journey I've had as a human being, you know, I've managed to stand up and say, you know what, this is how I am, take it or leave it. And I think, touch wood, it's been an amazing journey so far. So why should I feel that I am lesser in any way because of your standard of how everybody should be?
Yes.
I was told when I entered the business, don't talk like you know it all. Don't sound so intelligent. You know, Hindi film heroines are not supposed to be so chapar or they bade. You know, so you know, Hindi film heroines don't use such big words and don't sound like they know it all. Just act a little dumb and innocent and like you don't know what's going on and a babe in the woods. And I was like, what? No, I'm not going to do that. I actually people tell me that. So it's really sort of I feel like no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a bit of a
But I have noticed.
I don't like that.
But I have seen some actresses. I know they're playing the part. I know they're playing
Yeah.
the part of the.
मुझे नहीं पता क्या है. Okay, I'm going to act.
Which is also, I mean.
But it's unfortunate that they have to do that. It's unfortunate that young women feel the need to act dumb because it's a boys' club.
To elevate.
To
Yeah.
elevate themselves, or just because they feel it's a boys' club and they won't be welcome in it, or the men will feel threatened by it. And I think why should that happen?
Yes.
You know, it's really unfortunate that that needs to happen. But I'm glad to say it's changing. You know, today you have more women in the business who are writers, directors, producers, technicians, who are enabling other women in front of the camera to sort of feel secure, and women in general to feel secure. More women's stories are coming out. People are, you know, like it's getting more balanced. The world is becoming flatter as we speak.
But I do believe we will only have the equality of the genders when people, like when you hear a kid say, a little boy say, I wanna grow up to be a skilled fighter like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Why
because
not?
we're not talking
Absolutely.
about the gender over there. We're talking about the skills that the
Absolutely.
individual possesses. I think that is what the eventual.
Absolutely, I
goal is.
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Now, I want to talk about history.
Oh.
हिस्ट्री ऑनर्स हुआ था ना?
हाँ हुआ तो था.
हाँ, और आपके जो फिल्म्स भी है वाइसरॉय.
प्लीज इस सवाल मत पूछो हिस्ट्री के ऊपर. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Was there a photo that threatened to come up?
Oh, there was?
Viceroy's house.
Yay.
Viceroy's house. So you studied history and now you are doing stories. That's a really bad joke.
Yeah, basically.
We'll edit that out.
I think so.
Now please tell me the story of how you and Viceroy's house came together.
Every significant, or more, not every, but I think a lot of significant films I've done in my life have all happened because I auditioned for them.
Yes.
And I'm very proud to say that because it makes me feel like I've earned the part and not, it wasn't engineered to happen for me. And Viceroy's House is one such film that was in my house. And Seher Lateef, the casting director, called me and said, Gurinder Chadha is making this film, she's looking for an actress. Would you read for it? I said, sure, let me read the script.
Yeah. What's
And
this character's name?
Manish Dayal.
No, that's his actor's name.
Jeet.
Is the driver in it?
No, the driver was played by Arunodaya. His name was Asif.
Ah,
You auditioned for that?
Yeah.
No! What are you
I didn't
saying?
get it, yeah. She.
Damn, I'll call them and say you made a big mistake.
It's quite a no. People should know when they made a mistake. Anyway. Carry on.
So yeah, I read for the part and Seher came to my house. She had a little camcorder,
Yeah.
and you know there was one scene, and I'm supposed to be very upset that India is getting partition. And I had dupatta. So the dupatte ko aise hila ke karke I have expressed my
Wow.
anger, which I also didn't know. I was just doing it because I wanted to do some activity,
Yeah.
which Gurinder really liked, and that's I think how I got cast on the film.
कैरेक्टर को आपने निचोड़ दिया।
निचोड़ के निकाल दिया।
How was it working with being directed by Gurinder Chadha? I mean, that's a really, I hate when somebody asks me that question.
Yeah, no?
What are the specifics that you like about working with your director?
Well, ek to, she's a woman director. I never worked with a female
So,
director
before?
No, first female director, first British Punjabi director, first English film. So it was interesting, but Gurinder is like a force of nature, you know, Hatkutti Punjabi जिसे बोलते हैं ना, she's not happy with half, your half best. She really go all out guns blazing. So she's one of those kind of directors, which I completely enjoy. I love people who push me. So it was a very interesting, so it was a very interesting process to work with her, and I'm very proud of this film. It's a very sweet film about, you know, the partition. But it's also a human story about how all these divides are really not necessary, and how humanity and love are the biggest, you know, more than any religion. The old-fashioned love story.
Eventually, mankind will have no choice but to love each other.
Because there won't be anybody left.
Yeah, they'll be like,
so you'll have to love yourself.
लड़ने के लिए भी
We'll
कोई
just kill each other one day, basically, the way we are heading.
धूप से मर गए. Anyway, now I do want to do a quick jump. Sip of water.
Sip of water, yeah. I think so. Are you guys getting bored? Should we open the house with some questions?
We're in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, but you start thinking of your question, please, from now.
So you better have a good question now to ask.
Yeah.
Pressure.
और हाँ वो तो है. Actually, इसमें थोड़ा ज्ञान की जरूरत है.
Oh dear.
नहीं, please.
मेरे को वैसे कुछ नहीं आता. I told my mother that called me for a master class. She was laughing. तुमको क्या आता है जो बाकी लोगों को बताओगे? My mother said that.
She
She actually said that तुमको क्या आता है? She gets very amused. My mother and people interview me. Why do the people want to know what you're thinking? You talk rubbish half the time anyway.
No, it's damn important, yeah.
I just hope it's not mother saying that. She doesn't actually mean it.
You know, because then, you know, when this is edited also, apart from the audience, and I'm sure a lot of people, want to be artists themselves and have children and they have this thing. And eventually, I think conversation is the best way to go. Now, yes, bro, it's proper.
Okay.
Now, if you could tell us, now this is the master class, the big five, ladies and gentlemen, pull out the notebooks. Now, 5 ways to succeed when the odds are against you.
Discipline, blind belief in yourself, humility, openness to learn, and 8 hours of sleep every night.
Wow. That was very
Amazing.
crisp. Yeah, very crisp. Like,
Wow.
thank you. 8 hours of sleep is
8
important.
hours of sleep is important.
Discipline. Why is discipline important?
Well,
No, I swear, I'm like asking, how as an artist, how do you create discipline?
Well, as an artist, and I can only talk about myself, sometimes we indulge ourselves a little bit. Sometimes we feel we give into excesses.
Yes.
We don't understand the value of just waking up every single day and plowing ourselves into our craft. I believe in the 10,000 hour rule. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's basically the rule in which if you do something for 10,000 hours, eventually you'll get good at it. Even if you're a hot, I work at it every day and I will continue to work it. So I think in that sense, I feel I'm more disciplined.